Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always. What are we looking at today?
Well, this time we're going behind the scenes at Neiman Marcus.
Neiman Marcus. Like the luxury department store.
That's the one. We're going to uncover how they're tackling sustainability.
Interesting. I wouldn't have pegged them as the eco-warrior type.
Right. But we scored an interview with Douglas Bishop. He's their corporate energy manager.
Okay, so we're getting an insider's perspective.
Exactly. And this guy knows his stuff. He's worked with big names like CompUSA, Radio Shack, and Michaels.
Wow, so he's seen it all in the retail world.
Yeah. So we're basically trying to answer a few key questions. What's Neiman Marcus actually doing to become more sustainable? What kind of challenges are they facing? And how does data play into all of this?
Yeah, I'm curious about that data part. Seems like everyone's talking about data these days.
Well, Bishop definitely seems to be a data enthusiast. We'll get into that later. But first, let's go back to the beginning. Neiman Marcus initially focused on, the basics. Conservation. Reduce, reuse, recycle, that sort of thing.
The classic approach.
Right. But Bishop talked about how their approach evolved. It became less about just minimizing their own environmental impact and more about recognizing the impact of their entire operation, like on customers, suppliers, even the communities where they do business.
The much broader perspective.
Yeah. They realized that sustainability isn't a solo mission. It's about the whole ecosystem.
And that's probably what led them to create a dedicated ESG department.
You got it. ESG. Environmental, social, and governance. It shows they're really serious about integrating sustainability into the core of their business.
Not just window dressing.
Exactly. And they've set some pretty ambitious goals. They're aiming for 75% renewable energy by 2025.
Wow, it's only a couple years away.
Yeah, and 100% by 2030. To get there, though, they're relying heavily on these things called renewable energy credits, RECs.
Ah, RECs. It's a bit of a complex topic, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. Think of it like supporting renewable energy projects indirectly. Like if you can't put solar panels on your own roof, you invest in a solar farm somewhere else.
Okay, so you're kind of buying a piece of the renewable energy pie.
Right. And it helps companies like Neiman Marcus demonstrate their commitment to renewable energy, especially for those certifications and reports they need to do, like RE100 and CDP.
Makes sense. But isn't there some debate about whether RECs are enough?
Yeah, there are definitely different perspectives on this. Some argue that companies should prioritize on-site renewable energy whenever possible.
So it's not a simple problem-solved kind of thing.
Nope. Sustainability is rarely simple. Now, shifting gears a bit, Bishop really emphasizes the importance of technology. He talks about benchmarking, energy audits, retro-commissioning. Ever heard of those?
Oh, yeah. They're all about finding ways to reduce energy waste. Benchmarking is like comparing your building's energy use to others to see how you stack up.
Like, are you an energy hog or an energy star?
Exactly. And an energy audit digs deeper into your building systems to pinpoint where you're losing energy.
Like a detective for energy leaks.
And retro-commissioning is like fine-tuning those systems to make sure they're running at peak efficiency.
So it's like a three-step process: benchmark, audit, and then optimize.
Right. And all of this data they collect, it's not just for internal use. It's crucial for their ESG reporting, proving they're walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
But here's the thing. Bishop admits that Neiman Marcus faces a bit of a data dilemma.
Too much data, not enough insight.
Bingo. He uses this analogy. I look at data like an autopsy does. Big data gives you everything if you know how to use it. They've got tons of data, but it's scattered. Spreadsheets, different platforms. It's not telling a cohesive story.
So it's like having all the puzzle pieces, but not knowing how they fit together.
Exactly. And that leads us to Bishop's dream. He envisions a platform that can do it all. Not just store the data, but analyze it, provide insights, help them make smarter decisions about sustainability.
Sounds like a sustainability superheroes command center. I'm already intrigued.
Yeah, me too. And we're about to dive even deeper into Bishop's data dreams. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's dig into this data dream a bit more. Bishop talks about 15-minute interval data and how he's already collecting it. Sounds pretty high-tech.
It is. Basically, it means they can see their energy use every 15 minutes. Not just a big monthly bill, but like a constant stream of information.
Wow, that's a lot of data points, but what's the point of all that detail?
Well, it helps them spot patterns and trends they might miss otherwise. Like maybe there's a spike in energy use every Tuesday at 3 p.m.
And that could point to a problem they need to fix.
Exactly. Or an opportunity to be more efficient. And Bishop mentioned using I/O boards on their meters to collect this data.
I/O boards. Sounds complicated.
They're basically like little data collectors that attach to the meters. It lets them track everything in real time.
Real time, huh? That's pretty cool. But what do they actually do with all this information?
Well, Bishop has this vision of creating a real-time energy stock market display.
Okay, now that sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Imagine a big screen showing how energy use is fluctuating throughout the day, just like a stock ticker. They could see peaks and valleys as they happen.
So instead of just reacting to a problem after the fact, they could see it coming and, like, head it off at the pass.
Exactly. It's all about being proactive. And it ties into another concept we've discussed before, demand response.
Oh, yeah, where businesses reduce their energy use during peak times to help the grid.
Right. With this real-time data, Neiman Marcus could participate in demand response programs much more effectively.
Because they'd know exactly when to scale back their energy use.
Precisely. It's like they'd have an advantage in the energy game.
And I remember Bishop asking this question. What's happening in between normal usage and an alarm, and what are we doing about it?
It's a great question. He's pushing us to look beyond just responding to emergencies.
To understand those subtle shifts in energy use, that might be a warning sign.
It's like preventative medicine for buildings.
Okay, so we've got this 15-minute data, the energy stock market display. It's a lot to take in. But Bishop doesn't stop there. He has an even grander vision.
He does, doesn't he? He calls it total facility management.
And what exactly does that entail?
Well, it's about going beyond just energy. It's about integrating all the systems in a building, lighting, HVAC, security, you name it.
So like a super smart building that manages everything itself.
That's the idea. It would anticipate your needs, optimize everything for comfort and efficiency. Think of it like a building with its own brain.
Sounds pretty futuristic.
It is. But there are challenges, of course. Like right now, most buildings have systems from different manufacturers that don't really talk to each other.
Ah, the data silo problem.
Exactly. And Bishop recognizes this. He asked, are the manufacturers willing to be open enough to allow for AI to go in to help control that equipment?
So it's not just about the technology itself, but also about the willingness to collaborate and share data.
That's a huge part of it.
It's like the technology might be there, but are we ready for it?
That's the question we need to ask ourselves, not just in building management, but in any field where data is becoming so central.
This is really making me think. I mean, imagine a world where buildings are truly intelligent and responsive to our needs.
It's a powerful vision.
It is. And we're going to explore it even further in the final part of our deep dive. Stay with us. We're back for the final part of our deep dive. It's been fascinating to peek behind the curtain at Neiman Marcus's sustainability efforts.
It has. I'm really impressed by their commitment and how they're using data to drive their strategy.
Yeah, I think what stands out to me is Bishop's enthusiasm. He's not just going through the motions, you know? He genuinely wants to make a difference.
Definitely. And that comes through in his vision for that all-encompassing sustainability platform, compliance tracking, AI-powered rebates, a single place for all their data. It's ambitious, but it could be game-changing.
And that idea about the real-time energy stock market display, that's just brilliant.
I know, right? It's a way to make energy use tangible and engaging for everyone. You see those spikes happening, and it really drives home the impact of our choices.
It's not just about being reactive anymore, like, oh no, we used too much energy last month. It's about being proactive and using that data to make better decisions in the moment.
Exactly. And it opens up all these new possibilities for demand response. Companies could really fine-tune their participation and make a bigger impact on the grid.
It's like they'd have the secret weapon in the energy game. But of course, there are those challenges we talked about. Total facility management with everything perfectly integrated and AI running the show. That's a long way off.
It is, and Bishop himself acknowledged that. Will manufacturers really be willing to open up their systems and play nice with each other?
Yeah, it's a big if. It's not just about having the technology, it's about having the right mindset. Collaboration, openness, a willingness to share data for the greater good.
That's the key.
And it makes me wonder, is the technology actually the biggest hurdle, or is it us? Are we holding ourselves back?
It's a good question to ponder, not just in the context of buildings, but in any field where data is becoming so powerful. Are we ready to embrace the possibilities, even if it means changing the way we work and think?
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think that's the question I'm left with. How do we move from individual actions to truly interconnected systems that work in harmony with each other and the planet?
That's the big challenge, and I don't think there's an easy answer. But I do believe that each of us, in our own way, can contribute to finding that solution.
Whether it's making more sustainable choices in our daily lives or pushing for greater collaboration in our workplaces, every little bit counts.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that we're all part of this interconnected web, and our actions have ripple effects.
So thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of sustainable luxury retail. We hope you learned something new and maybe even got inspired to make a change.
And remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Until next time, stay curious.